Next game, Atlanta and Dallas. Let me just hit the Atlanta Falcons versus Dallas Cowboys. Let me hit you with the projections. So I have Matt Ryan as a 19. That's an game. Gurley actually have a good projection on. I'll talk about that in a bit. I'm not happy with that. Brian Hill has a decent projection. I don't like that. And I think the numbers are skewed a little bit with how effective the Rams running game was against week one, Dallas Cowboys. Let's see here. Julio, Calvin Ridley, and actually Russell Gage are all starts to me. Hurst, I'm going to start him in another one, but we're going to talk about him in a bit. I was disappointed with the Atlanta offense and what they did against Seattle. I'm starting him, but I'm a little concerned. Now, Dallas, Dak Prescott is a definite start to me. I think it's a slam dunk start. Zeke is a slam dunk start. I like Gallup and Cooper this week. I don't like Lamb as much, and then I stay away from tight end. Take it away, David.
I think there's got to be a get right game for the Cowboys, right? Seattle just dropped 38 points on the Falcons. And you say you like Cooper and Gallup, not so much Lamb. I like what I saw out of season. He was the second receiver in terms of receptions and yardage for the Cowboys. I like all three of those guys, especially you talk about Blake Jarwin. Looks like he's going to be out for the year. So that passing offense should be funneled through those three wide receivers even more. I think you should be starting basically all three Dallas Cowboys wide receivers next week.
Yeah, Lamb looked fantastic, I would say, in his first action. Matchup-wise, I think most of the targets will go there. That's why I'm kind of waiting and seeing on Lamb. Let me talk about Atlanta for a little bit. And I wrote this for anybody who follows my stuff, and I send out the ranking. By the way, free rankings, you can just look below in the banner. You're going to see everything. You can connect with me and David. All the links are there in the show notes below. Hayden Hurst bothered me. Okay, so you get 12 targets apiece for Jones, Ridley, and Gage, and Hayden Hurst gets 5. And he didn't look very impactful for me. He's a matchup nightmare. Now, credit Seattle because their defense played a little bit better at tight end, or at least covering the tight end than they did last season. But Hurst, what really bugged me, it wasn't the targets because those are going to ebb and flow. But whenever there was a bit of physicality, he kind of withered to me. And that's one of the games I did watch live. He's going to be facing off against linebackers. Linebackers, what do? They're not cover guys like defensive backs are. They're going to try to rough you up off the line of scrimmage. He's a slight guy. You know him from Baltimore, David. You rooted for him. There's a reason he wasn't on the field. There's a reason Boyle and Andrews were there because there was a physical toughness there. And Baltimore likes to run the ball. So I thought, Atlanta's more of a passing team. Maybe Hurst will get on the field more. He just didn't put it together. He's got to toughen up. And then also Atlanta, it kind of boggled my mind. Offensively, we know Dirk Cutter, their identity is a passing team. They came out and tried to do ball control with Todd Gurley against the Seahawks, and that got out of hand quickly. The reason that score was as close as it was is because Matt Ryan got some junk touchdowns in the last fourth quarter, basically, last few minutes of the game. I did not like what I saw from Atlanta at all. They need to get back to what they do, which is passing. That's what they're built for. What do you think about all that?
Well, they certainly passed plenty in the second half. Matt Ryan threw 54 attempts.
When they adjusted.
Yeah, but they're at the end of the day, it matters. The whole game matters. So 54 passing attempts, that's extremely high volume, 450 yards. I mean, you talk about the three wide receivers. I think Hurst struggling. Now that we have hindsight, I think it's a little more predictable than probably I was giving it credit for. I looked probably a little bit too much at that Seattle matchup and said, Seattle was terrible against the tight end last year. Hurst is a good start this week. I started Hurst over Evan Ingram. I'm already regretting that. But we look at the fact Seattle added Jamal Adams to the team, so they might be better against the tight end this year. And then this was Hurst's first game with Matt Ryan. Julio and Ridley, they've been with Ryan their entire careers. Russell Gage has been with the team, I believe, 3 years now. He played with Matt Ryan last year. So I think it was a little bit more having to do with a familiarity issue for Hayden Hurst than it had to do so much with him underperforming. So is 3 for 38 something to be excited about for Hayden Hurst week one? Absolutely not. It is a little bit concerning. But am I slamming the panic button because he didn't go off in his first week? No. I still think you look at the 54 attempts, they're going to balance out. Those wideouts aren't going to catch 9 balls apiece each
27 grabs week. Between the three of them, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. The volume's going to come for Hayden Hurst. If anything, I don't like putting out trade offers post week one, but if someone offers him to you, I mean, I think he's
Yeah.
a good buy low candidate at this point.
Yeah, and he could get waived. I mean, he might be tight end 2 for a lot of people, so he could get waived this week if there's, it's overreaction Monday and Tuesday basically. So I agree. I'm still going to start him next week. Although Goddard is on waivers in my league, so we'll see. I might start him as well, but depends on kind of what shakes out. Anyway, let me hit you with the line here. Atlanta +7 against the Cowboys. Who do you think takes that game?
I'm gonna say Atlanta, just because I think both teams have a lot to prove week 2. I think Dallas wins, but I don't think they win by more than 7.
It's funny what I do before these lines is I try to predict the score. I actually would have called the line 7. So this is one I would stay away from. It's one I think is a push, but I'm going to take the points here just because Atlanta can put up points. Even if they're losing by 20 going into the fourth quarter, it's something that they can close the gap on and close that spread. It's a big line. So I think Dallas is going to win, though. I will say Dallas, of the, I've watched 8 games so far. Dallas impressed me. I thought that was a very high quality Sunday night game. I think Dallas, in that new system, they came out maybe a little shaky in the first 2 quarters, but they played well. Whereas there were a lot of other teams that were a little sloppy in week 1, which you would have expected. I think Dallas is looking good. I think they're going to be a threat in the NFC East. I think Dallas wins the game, but it's hard for me to take anything else other than Atlanta and 7, considering how fast they can put up points.